Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Elimination Chamber pre-show and results. Alright, we'll go to the dark matches of the pre-show. And we got Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson versus Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. Misfits, I'll call them. Okay. Go to the ring out on commentaries Michael Colesaw, Corey Graves, and Jonathan Coachman. JoJo does the ring introductions as Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas are out first. Fans are still finding their seats as Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson were out next. Axel starts off with Anderson and takes control. They go to the mat and back up. They all go after some stalling, and Axel works Anderson over. Anderson nails a drop kick and turns it around. Gallows tags in and slams Axel. Gallows takes Axel to the corner and unloads. Gallows gets a nerd chant going on from the crowd. Drops Axel with a big uppercut. Anderson comes back in. Axel fights back. Tags Dallas in. Axel decks Anderson before leaving as Bo goes to work on Anderson and talks some trash. Anderson runs into a boot in the corner as Axel charges in. Anderson responds with two clotheslines. Anderson then knocks Dallas off the apron. Drop kicks Axel in the corner. Dallas tags in. But Anderson doesn't see it. Dallas dumps Anderson off the top rope, and he falls hard on the floor. Mr. Raj stands tall as we go to commercial break. Back for a break. As Dallas unloads on Anderson in the ring, Dallas drops knees and tags in Axel. I was home watching the pre-show. I took a break and started washing dishes. Axel got a neck breaker for a 2 count. Dallas comes back in. They end up double teaming Anderson. Anderson tries to fight both of them off, but Dallas drops him. Anderson finally drops Axel with a running kick, and in comes Gallows off the tag. Gallows unloads on Dallas, hits a big splash in the corner. Gallows with a huge kick to the back of the neck to drop Dallas again. Gallows runs the ropes, splashes Dallas again. Anderson tags in, but Axel stops him with a double team boot of doom. Gallows drops Axel. The Mr. Oz hits the double team on Dallas, and Dallas covers Anderson for a close 2 count. While Gallows and Axel are on the floor. Axel goes to the top for a double team, but gets crotched. Anderson with a spinebuster on Axel. Gallows comes in and sends Dallas to the floor. Anderson ends up tagging in, and they hit Magic Killer on Dallas for a win. As they celebrate after the match, but we go right to Mike Rome with a revival backstage. Scott Dawson says all 4 of them have potential, but that's not his tag team wrestling. That was a mockery. Dash Wilder chimes in and agrees, but we go back to Gallows and Anderson celebrating up the ramp. We'll go back to the panel for hype on tonight's show, and the WWE Network, as Booker predicts, Rousey's contract signing will be the big announcement of the night. The moment we've all been waiting for, the shucky ducky quack quack moment. We get more hype from the panel to Road to WrestleMania 34. And that was your dark match of the pay-per-view. Before the pay-per-view. And Heyman comes in, and Renee asks him who he has eyes on in the chamber tonight. Heyman has his eye on everyone, as faces his client at WrestleMania. It's the biggest opportunity of one's career. Heyman says the real chamber main event will happen on Raw tomorrow night, because the winner will go to face in the ring with Brock Lesnar. We see chamber structure being lowered over the ring as Heyman goes on about Lesnar and WrestleMania, and that's it for the kickoff show. Again, my prediction was still Roman Reigns. Because they were penciled him in at last year's WrestleMania. 2018 Elimination Chamber pay-per-view opened up with a bit video package live from T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. Michael Colesaw welcomes us, joined by Corey Graves and Jonathan Coachman. We see the Elimination Chamber structure being locked in. Colesaw leads us to a video package for the first ever women's Elimination Chamber match. And that matches up first. Elimination Chamber for the Raw Women's title. Mandy Rose versus Sasha Banks versus Sonya Deville versus Bayley versus Mickie James versus Alexa Bliss. And my prediction on this one was Alexa Bliss retaining. We go to the chamber, all because of Asuka will face Bliss at was already advertised to face Bliss at WrestleMania. We go to the chamber and JoJo announces the rules. Out first comes Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss as she doesn't look happy. Bliss enters her pod. Out next comes Sasha Banks. Banks enters the chamber, stops to stare down Bliss. Out next comes Mickie James. Absolution was out next. Paige, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose. But of course, Paige goes to the back because she cannot wrestle. Paige stops at the stage and wishes them well before returning to the backstage area. Rose and Deville head into the chamber, taunt the others in their spots. Mandy enters the pod and Deville waits on Bayley, who is out next. Bayley and Deville will go at it alone for the first 5 minutes. Fans start cheering as the chamber door is closed and locked. The bell rings and they stare each other down and looked around at the other pods. Deville goes for a takedown but has no luck. She goes for another and then slams Bayley to the mat. Deville with a weak 1 count. Bayley takes Deville down. As they break, they get up to their feet and then stare each other down again. They lock up and Bayley takes Deville down. Bayley with a running bulldog. Bayley with some more offense until Deville turns it around and slams her face first into the corner. Deville drops Bayley with a big shot to the gut. Deville talks some trash now. Deville slingshots Bayley into the chamber wall, but Bayley grabs the chains and climbs up. Deville takes her down, but it's countered. Deville tries to send Bayley into the chains, but it's blocked again. Bayley ends up taking Deville down into the steel as Bayley gets a 2 count. Bayley works on the shoulder in the ring now, but misses an elbow. Bayley slams Deville and covers her for a 2 count. Bayley goes to the top. Deville crawls out to the steel. And Bayley jumps anyways and hits the big elbow drop on the steel. Bayley rolls Deville back in the ring and covers for a 2 count. Bayley with a headlock as the timer starts counting down. Next in is Mandy Rose. So you get 2-on-1 from the Riot Squad. Whatever they are on here. Bayley meets her and drops a stunner for over the middle rope as she tries to come in. Not the Riot Squad. Absolution. Mandy decks Deville on the steel, and Deville takes her down. Absolution celebrates as we get a replay. They double team Bayley and drive her into the wall of the chamber several times. They bring her back in the ring and takes turns on Bayley. Rose drops Bayley for a 2 count. Mandy hits a knee from the second rope at one point. They take Bayley back out to the steel and work her over while she's stuck on the wall of the chamber. They talk some trash as the double team continues. Deville taunts Mickie outside of her pod. The timer counts down and the next superstar in is Sasha Banks. Sasha takes down Deville on the steel and then Rose. So we're even up 2 faces. 2 heels. Banks launches Rose into her pod. Banks then sends Rose into the chamber wall next. Banks then stops her way until Deville makes a save. Sasha unloads on Deville now. Sasha drops Deville with double knees. Sasha brings Deville back in the ring and hits another set of double knees for a 2 count. Deville fights Banks off in the corner, but Sasha positions her over the turnbuckle for the double knees. Sasha drops Rose on the steel next. Sasha goes back to work on Deville and levels her in the corner for another pin attempt. Deville runs counters and sends Sasha into the turnbuckle for a 2 count. Bliss looks on as Bayley tries to fight back on the steel. Bayley and Sasha double team Deville, ramming her into the wall several times. They toss her back into the ring, but Rose attacks them. Rose tosses Banks in the ring and clotheslines her. Rose with a face buster, but she doesn't make the pin. Rose goes another big move, but it gets blocked. Sasha sidesteps a running knee and hits a backstabber, then the bank statement. Rose taps out as Bayley stops Deville from coming in. Mandy is eliminated. Rose isn't happy as she's forced to leave. Bliss looks on as she's all smiles. Timer counts down and the next entrant is Mickie James. She unloads on Bayley and Sasha. Sasha and Mickie trade pin attempts. Mickie with a neck breaker on Bayley. Sasha drops Mickie, but Mickie comes right back and slams her on her face. Mickie kicks up for a pop. Deville with a big knees to Mickie. Deville sends Mickie into the chamber wall. Mickie sends Deville into the wall. Counter for counter. Deville comes right back and rams Mickie back into the chains a few times. Mickie ends up taking Deville down to the steel with her Hurricanrana. Mickie looks to climb the wall, but Sasha comes over. Mickey super kicks her. Mickey climbs up again, but here comes Bailey right beside her. They fight it out. Mickey sends Bailey to the steel. Mickey climbs up and reaches the top of the pod. Mickey nails a big Fez press from the top of the pod and on DeVille and gets a pinfall. So they have been eliminated. First two have been eliminated. Banks and Bailey come over. Her finishers on Mickey. Bailey covers for the pin, and Mickey has been eliminated. Well, that was because Mickey went up to pose to the crowd. Bliss realizes what's going to happen next. Bailey and Sasha look to team up on her when she comes in. The timer goes off, and Bliss immediately shuts the pod. She climbs to the top of the cage, but Banks and Bailey also climb up on each side of her. Climbing the steel, going around the circle of it, the halo. Bliss starts to climb down. They all climb down. Bliss looks to avoid them. Banks ends up kicking Bailey off the top of the pod as the crowd pops. She went past the pod trying to climb back up and got knocked back down. Bliss is down on the steel as well. Sasha stalks her, but Bailey comes right from behind. Sasha smiling at her. Bliss nails Bailey and brings her in for a 2 count. Bliss unloads on Bailey while she's down. Bliss stomps away on the back of Bailey's head and covers for a 2 count. Bailey with a big suplex to Sasha. Bailey goes to work on Bliss until Sasha comes from behind. Banks and Bailey go at it. Banks ends up with a tree of woe in the corner. Bailey stomps on her. Bailey goes to the top while Banks is still upside down on the tree of woe. Bliss cuts Bailey off and climbs up. Sasha is still upside down. Bliss with a super kick to Bailey. A superplex to Bailey. Bank pulls herself up to the top. Banks nails the frog splash Eddie Guerrero style on Bailey for a close 2 count. Bailey counters Sasha's double knees in the corner, but Bailey got sent into the turnbuckles. Sasha then talks some trash. Bailey runs to the top and nails a super Bailey to belly. Bliss stops the pin and steals the pin for herself. Bailey has been eliminated. Sasha gets a close 2 count on Bliss right afterwards. As Sasha with a close 2 count on Bliss. As soon as Bailey has been eliminated, Bliss goes up top for Twisted Bliss, but Banks gets her knees up and Bliss lands hard. They go to the steel. Banks gets caught up while running for a kick. Bliss sends her hard into the chamber steel. Bliss ends up going to the top of the pod. She nails a Twisted Bliss from the top of the pod to the steel. Bliss tries to bring Banks back into the ring for the pin, but Banks then counters into a bank statement and rolls into the ring. As Bliss gets out of it, and then Bliss rams Sasha's back into the turnbuckles and finally breaks free. Banks drops Bliss in the corner. Banks climbs up as fans chant, "This is awesome now." Bliss comes from behind and shoves Sasha face first into a pod. Bliss brings Banks back to the mat from the top with a big DDT and covers for the pin. Bliss retains and is going on to face Asuka at WrestleMania 34. After the match, Bliss takes her title as her arm is raised with her music hits and does her promo with Renee Young in the ring. Bliss says the win means everything for her. The fans chant, "You deserve it," after she gets emotional. Bliss thanks him and says this win isn't just about her. It's about every girl and woman watching that has ever dreamed big. Bliss then turns heel and says, "This just proves you can be anything you want to be. Dare to dream and dream." And then says, "Reality is that none of the people watching will ever achieve their dreams." She says that she's proved that there is no one better than her. Bliss says that the odds were clearly stacked against her, but she won. Bliss goes on and says she proved that there's just one true goddess in WWE. She raises the title again as the music hits. I would have thrown Ronda Rousey in there if they were going to do a little skip with that to get her. But she's got other plans. They've got other plans for Ronda Rousey and a tag team match. You will see it's being set up partially later on in the pay-per-view results. Back from a promo, we see Raw General Manager Kurt Angle entering Ronda Rousey's locker room in the back. We get a backstage footer video from Braun Strowman with comments on tonight's main event and Brock Lesnar. Raw Tag Team title match. I took another break because we got the Titus Worldwide versus the Bar. We got a ring out first going Titus Worldwide. Titus O'Neil, Apollo. They have dropped Apollo Crews' name. It's just Apollo and Dana Brooke. We see some of the international announced team in the arena as Raw Tag Team champions. The Bar were out next. And by the way, the first match took like about 47 minutes. Cesaro and Sheamus attack before the entrance is over. Therefore, there's no bell yet. But it backfires as Titus Worldwide turns around and Apollo nails a big moonsault from the top to the floor. They bring him back inside the ring. We finally get the bell. Titus Worldwide starts the match with close pin attempts. Bar ends up taking over thanks to Sheamus. Referee counts while Apollo is down on the floor. Sheamus tags in and works him over, bringing it back in the ring. Cesaro tags back in and Apollo tries to fight back, but Cesaro drops him with a punch. Cesaro with a 2 count. Apollo reaches for a tag, but Cesaro stops him. Sheamus tags in for the double teaming and trash talking. Sheamus with another pin attempt before keeping Apollo grounded with an armbar. Cesaro comes in and keeps Apollo down as Titus talks trash and waits for a tag. Sheamus comes back in and stops Apollo from tagging by stomping on his hand. The Bar has really slowed the match down as Dana cheers Apollo on from ringside. Apollo looks to fight back again, but Cesaro comes in off another quick tag and keeps Apollo grounded. Apollo finally gets an opening after sending Cesaro to the floor. Sheamus tags back in, once again stomps Apollo from tagging. Apollo fights off of a cheap shot and more double teaming, finally getting an tag to Titus. Titus starts to unload on both opponents. Titus then nails a shot to Cesaro in the corner. Titus then launches Cesaro across the ring and stands tall for a pop. Titus hits Cesaro in the corner and then knocks Sheamus off the apron. Titus with a big boot on Cesaro for a close 2 count. Titus catches Cesaro for a slam, but Cesaro slides out and kicks him in the knee. Cesaro with another counter. Titus sends Cesaro to the floor, but doesn't see Sheamus tag in. They go at it, and Titus hits Clash of Titus on Sheamus and gets a 2 count. And Cesaro broke up the pin. The Bar regrouped on the floor. Apollo runs the ropes, takes them both down. Apollo brings it back in, covers for a 2 count on Sheamus. Apollo with a standing moonsault, but Sheamus got his knees up. Sheamus gets a 2 count off of that. Cesaro sends Titus into the ring post on the floor. As Apollo drops Sheamus with an enziguri, Cesaro then tags in and takes Apollo's knees out. The Bar hits a double team on Cesaro, and Cesaro covers for the pinfall. After the match, Bar stands tall with the titles as we go to replays. Apollo is down on the mat while Titus is down on the floor recovering. The Bar leaves with the titles in the air. They air a trailer for the upcoming HBO sports documentary on WWE Hall of Famer Andre the Giant, premiering on April the 10th. Announced to discuss the next match. The cut backstage, we see one of Asuka's masks laying on the ground. A boot stomps on it, and the camera reveals Nia Jax. We cut to a video package for the next match. Of course, Asuka versus Nia Jax. We go to the ring. Out comes Nia Jax. As we see more international announce team in the arena. Jax will earn a spot in the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania 34 if she wins this. Asuka was out next. The bell rings and they go at it. Jax overpowers and blocks. Jax sends Asuka back into the corner with a headbutt. Asuka turns it around and keeps fighting. Despite Jax's power, Jax tosses Asuka across the ring. Jax charges, but Asuka pulls the top rope down. Jax lands on her feet outside the ring. Asuka charges, but Nia sidesteps and catches her with the ropes. Jax with a knee to the spine. Jax comes right back into the ring and keeps Asuka down with a boot to the back. We see Alexa Bliss watching backstage. Jax smashes Asuka's face into the mat with the boot on her back. Jax with a backbreaker. Jax with a splash to the corner. Jax runs ropes and drops an elbow for a 2 count. Asuka fights back and tries to roll Nia into a knee bar. Jax is too powerful to go down. Jax powers up and rams Asuka back into the turnbuckles. Jax puts Asuka over her back into the torture rack and bends her as the fans pop. Asuka gets out and goes for a guillotine in the middle of the ring. Jax counters with a big vertical suplex, falling on top of Asuka. Asuka with kicks now as Asuka charges, but Nia catches her with a big Samoan drop. Jax hits the ropes and goes for the leg drop, but Asuka moves. Asuka with a shining wizard for a 2 count. Asuka brings Jax down to one knee and kicks her in the head. Asuka drops Jax with a running knee, but Jax kicks out at 2. Asuka gets fired up and goes to the top. Jax cuts her off with a right hand. Jax climbs up for a super Samoan drop, but Asuka slides out, but goes down to the mat. Jax goes for the big second rope splash, but she wastes her time and Asuka moves. Jax hits the mat hard. Jax still recovers, and Asuka goes down as she charges. Jax goes for a splash on the mat, but Asuka moves again. Jax charges in the corner, but hits the ring post shoulder first as Asuka moves. Asuka pulls Jax down into an armbar. Jax powers to her feet, breaks a hold by ramming Asuka back into the turnbuckles. Jax acknowledges the WrestleMania 34 sign and goes to put Asuka away, but Asuka counters and rolls her up out of nowhere for the win. After the match, Asuka's music hits. As we see Bliss watching backstage, Asuka stands tall, has her arm raised, but Jax drops her from behind. Jax tosses Asuka to the floor and follows. Asuka fights back, but Asuka catches a kick and rams her back into the apron. Jax charges and blasts Asuka through the barrier as it breaks. Breaks into like 3 parts. Jax stands tall over Asuka now as Jax marches to the back while Asuka is still laid out in the debris. We see Bliss backstage watching again as she's happy. Renee approaches her for some comments and says it looks like that she will be facing Asuka at WrestleMania. Bliss knows Nia is disappointed in the outcome of the match, but Bliss isn't disappointed in what happened after the match. Bliss says we're 6 weeks away from WrestleMania and no one is ready for her. We go back to the ring and we see Asuka being helped away. We get replays from the match. Asuka's music resumes as we see Asuka being helped to the back. Charlie Caruso backstage with Roman Reigns, who gets a very mixed reaction from the fans watching on the big screen in the arena. Reigns doesn't care about what Paul Heyman has to say about Brock Lesnar defeating the Chamber winner at WrestleMania. Reigns knocks Heyman and says he's the opposite. He goes out and does everything he says he will. Reigns says he will win the Chamber tonight. And spoiler alert, he will go on to WrestleMania 34 to defeat Brock Lesnar for the WWE Universal title. And by the way, he does the same thing after the show was over. Cole leads us to a video package for the next match. Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy. We go to the ring. Out first comes Matt Hardy. Looks like it's time for Bray Wyatt's entrance as the lights go out and come back on. We see Wyatt standing in the ring, but no Matt. We hear Matt on the mic singing a song about Bray being obsolete to taunt him. I think it might be the same song that they did in TNA. Wyatt looked everywhere for Matt as he got a brief delete chant going. Even my daughter was catching by a part of this, as her mama was a little bit late picking her up tonight. Blaming the weather. Wyatt turns around and Matt leaps off the steel steps at the apron to take Wyatt down. They fight to the ring as we get the bell. They go at it after the bell. Matt gets the upper hand and applauds to Wyatt at one point. Wyatt looks on confused. Fans stand with Matt and clap with him. Matt kicks Wyatt and goes for the twist of fate, driving Wyatt to the mat for a 2 count. Matt with another delete chant and more offense. Wyatt turns it around by launching himself at Matt off the ropes. Wyatt unloads on Matt in the corner now. Wyatt with more offense and another 2 count. Wyatt keeps Matt grounded with a headlock. Matt got free and fights back, but Wyatt dropped him with a headbutt. They end up going at it on the apron. Wyatt drops Matt and drives him into the apron, causing him to fall to the floor. Wyatt follows and delivers a big uppercut, taking him his time with Hardy. Wyatt does the dive into the steel steps, but it's blocked. Bray comes right back with a big clothesline to the floor. Wyatt brings Hardy back into the ring for another 2 count. Wyatt chokes Matt on the middle rope now. Wyatt drops Hardy again and is all smiles as he continues to take his time. At this point, I was taking my daughter to her mama so she can go back home. Pineville. And my buddy Robert texted me the results as he read the results for the next two matches. Wyatt posed and charged in the corner, but Hardy caught him. Matt with a tornado DDT. Matt gets up and unloads with the forearm shots, then hits first shot into the turnbuckles. Matt with a corner clothesline. Wyatt blocks a bulldog, but Matt comes right back with a side effect for a 2 count. Matt comes right off the second rope with an elbow. Fan chat delete now. Wyatt blocks a twist of fate. Wyatt with a big Uranagi and a senton for a close 2 count. Wyatt looks frustrated as he continues to unload on Hardy. It sounds like fans are chanting for Rusev Day. Wyatt smiles as the beating to Hardy goes on. Matt moves and Wyatt goes for the splash for the second rope. Wyatt blocks another move and goes for Sister Abigail, but wastes too much time. Wyatt with a big boot to the face. Hardy takes the boot and fights back. Or catches the boot, I should say. Dirt Sheet misdid it on that one. As Hardy comes right back with it with a kick to the gut and twist of fate for the finish. After the match, Hardy stands tall as the music hits and we go to replays, and we go to a break with the pay-per-view. Announcers lead us to a video package on Ronda Rousey. We go to the ring for the Ronda Rousey Raw contract signing, and out first comes Raw General Manager Kurt Angle. Triple H was out next with his music, and Raw Commissioner Stephanie McMahon. There's a table in the ring with Rousey's contract and 4 microphones. Of course, it's covered with a red table thing. Fan chant for Triple H, and Stephanie takes the mic. She says that we're all about to be part of history as they sign one of the top female athletes. Triple H talks about how they search the globe looking for the best men and women. Triple H says this might be one of the biggest ever that he could think of as big since they welcomed another Olympian, Kurt Angle. Triple H goes on about some of Rousey's accomplishments. Fans give him the what treatment. Triple H says Rousey earned the right he thinks to call herself the big baddest woman on the planet. Triple H calls on everyone to welcome to WWE Ronda Rousey. The music hits out. She comes and smiles on the stage. Stephanie asks Rousey to let her be the first to officially welcome her to the WWE when she got in the ring. Stephanie says that the fans are making it perfectly clear that they want to hear from her, not Stephanie. Hey guys, says Rousey. Rousey says she's not often speechless, but to be in the ring with these people, as Rousey fumbles some of her words, and she's like dropping the microphone and you can barely hear it. Rousey says it really is an honor. Fan chant her name now, and she hesitates. But she says she wouldn't be here at all if it wasn't for her hero, the late WWE Hall of Famer, Roddy Piper. She talks about wanting to make his family proud. She wants to earn respect from fans in the ring. Triple H says Rousey didn't want anything special put in the contract. No perks, no special travel, no private cars. No limousine riding. Kiss stealing. Really dealing. That's Ric Flair. Rousey says that she doesn't want to be treated any different. Triple H says all she asked for was an invite to WrestleMania, and not only does she have that, she will be competing at WrestleMania. They didn't say what type of match, but it will be a tag team match. Fans pop, not in a title match, but a match, he says. She says she doesn't want to be given a title match. She wants to earn it. She thanks Triple H again. Triple H called on Stephanie to do the honors. She presents Rousey with the contract and it's signed. Triple H and Angle talk things over while Rousey and Stephanie go over the contract. Rousey asks if Kurt wants to say something. because he's over there talking to Triple H and they're laughing or what have you. As Kurt says no. He's just in awe of Triple H and Stephanie because they're really brilliant. Angle has listened to them talk about Rousey since he came back to WWE. Angle says they couldn't wait to get Rousey to WWE because they wanted to manipulate her for what happened at WrestleMania 31. Triple H looks pissed, staring at Angle. Angle says that they want to put their thumb on Rousey and keep her down. 3 years in the making, and now we own the B word. As Angle alleged, Triple H said. Triple H hushed him up. He says tonight is about Rousey making dreams come true and Rousey becoming a WWE superstar, not any of them. Triple H says Angle is not feeling well and is having a relapse after being in the hospital with the flu this weekend. Triple H tells Stephanie to wrap the contract up while he gets Angle out of the ring and to the doctor. Stephanie admits that they have been talking about her since WrestleMania and did embarrass them there, but they want her to be a part of WWE now. Stephanie is ready to finalize the deal that made Ronda a WWE superstar. Angle speaks from the stage and says Stephanie called Ronda a has-been backstage, saying that she could take Ronda one-on-one. Triple H hurries Angle to the back. Rousey stares Stephanie down and backs her against the ropes. Triple H comes back to the ring and gets between them, backing Rousey off. Rousey bunks up and gets in Triple H's face. Rousey watches as Triple H gets Stephanie to leave the ring. Triple H walks back over, but Rousey scoops him and slams him, spine buster through the table. Fans pop for Rousey as she stands over Triple H. Stephanie comes over and slaps Rousey in the face. Stephanie berates Rousey now, asking who she thinks she is. Fans do the "you effed up" chant as Rousey stares at Stephanie, just as a slowly, like, you really did that? Causing her to run from the ring. Rousey signs the contract and tosses it onto Triple H, who is still down in the debris, as she put him with a spine buster through the table. Rousey left the ring as her music hits. Rousey marched up the ramp as Stephanie checked on Triple H. Rousey looked back and kept walking to the back as we go to replays. Triple H slowly gets to his feet and tosses a piece of a table as Stephanie helps him leave the ring. We get a video package for tonight's main event, Elimination Chamber for the men's Universal title shot. Elias, who enters last in the chamber. John Cena versus then versus Seth Rollins versus Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns versus The Miz versus Braun Strowman. We go to the Elimination Chamber. JoJo goes over the rules. Winner will face the Universal Champion Brock Lesnar in the main event WrestleMania 34. Spotlight then turns onto Elias in the chamber with his guitar. Fans cheer as he starts playing. Elias talks about how he's going to win tonight and go on to WrestleMania. He also knocks Las Vegas for the heel heat and talks about the strategy he has at entering the match tonight. He goes on with a heel act before beginning his latest song. Music finally interrupts and out comes Braun Strowman. Elias immediately enters the pod. Braun enters the pod as the fans pop. John Cena was out next and third. And taking a look at Braun and Elias in their pods. Roman Reigns was out next. Reigns enters the chamber and also stops at each pod to stare down the other opponents. Reigns hits the turnbuckle in front of Elias and poses. Intercontinental Champion Miz was out next. Miz gets shook a bit by Braun. It's like, ugh. Seth Rollins was out next to a big pop. Finn Balor was out last. Rollins, Balor, and Miz start things off as we get the bell. Well, you got 7 guys in Elimination Chamber match. Miz tries to talk Rollins into a partnership as Balor looks on, but he has no luck. Miz tries Too Sweet. Balor next, but Balor isn't interested. Rollins turns to Balor next and then proposes a partnership. Miz attacks them both, but they both kick him. Rollins kicks Miz and Balor tosses Miz over the top to the steel. Rollins rolls Balor up for a 2 count. Balor and Rollins go at it. They break and circle each other before not locking up again. Balor decks Miz as he tries to get up and back into the ring, sending him back to the steel. Rollins takes Balor down to the mat again. Rollins decks Miz as he tries to get up again, sending him back to the steel once again. Balor runs the ropes and drop kicks Rollins. Miz comes in with a thrust to Balor's gut. Miz with a sunset flip to Balor, but it's countered. Balor with a basement drop kick to Miz for a 2 count. Balor with a big chop to Rollins in the corner. Miz with another corner. Balor with an offense on both guys. Balor kicks Rollins and covers for a 2 count while Miz is down on the floor. Rollins drops Balor with a knee to the gut and covers for a pin attempt. Balor will roll up on Rollins from behind. Well, by the way, there is no floor because it's all solid steel. You got the mat and then the steel around the ring. They all trade roll-ups. The reporter for the dirt sheet forgot about the steel. They talked about the steel. When he talks about the steel, he talks about the chains. Well, Rollins slams Balor over his knee. Rollins charges in the corner, but Miz dumps him to the steel. Rollins then springboards in with a clothesline and nails it. Rollins with a suplex into a Falcon Arrow to Miz. Miz kicks out at 2. Rollins super kicks Miz and goes for the stomp. Rollins blocks Skull Crusher finale as Miz runs right into a boot in the corner. Balor gets involved now. Rollins hits a double blockbuster and covers Balor for a 2 count. Then Miz for another 2 count. Timer counts down, and the 4th man is out. Is John Cena. Cena meets Rollins in the middle of the ring, and they have words about going to WrestleMania. Cena laughs in Rollins' face. They go at it, and Cena slams Rollins. Cena calls for the 5-knuckle shuffle, but Rollins kicks him. Cena blocks that and rams Rollins again. Cena comes over, but Cena slams him beside. Miz comes over, but Cena slams him beside Rollins. Cena then hits the double 5-knuckle shuffle. Double fist. Light fist pump. To Rollins and Miz. Balor follows up and drops Cena, then stomps on him for a 2 count. Balor counters a skull crushing finale and rolls Miz up for a 2 count. Balor with a sling blade to Miz. Rollins levels Balor as he goes down. Rollins hits Balor, then Miz, then Balor again. Cena follows up behind Rollins and hits him. Cena goes for a stacked double attitude adjustment on Balor and Rollins, but Balor slides out. Cena used Rollins to drop Balor. And Rollins lands on his feet and hits an insecurity to Cena. Miz with a neckbreaker to Rollins for a 2 count as we see Reigns, Braun, and Elias watching from their pods. Cena sends Balor out to the steel while Miz and Rollins go at it. Rollins sends Miz into the chamber wall. Fans are dueling chants for Cena now. Balor works Cena over on the steel. Cena climbs up top with Balor while Rollins climbs up with Miz in the opposite corner. Cena hits a superplex first. Then Rollins hits his superplex. All 4 superstars are down as the timer counts down. Next man in is Roman Reigns. Reigns index Balor first, then Cena and Miz. Reigns with more offense on the others before facing off Rollins. Miz comes from behind, nailing Rollins and hitting a big boot on Reigns. Miz nails a big DDT to Rollins for a 2 count. Miz then kicks Cena and stands tall. Everyone is down but Miz. He points at each and asks fans who he should hit first. He ends up delivering the yes kicks to everyone while they are on their knees in a circle. Miz gets fired up but misses the last kick to Reigns. Reigns with a big clothesline. Reigns unloads on Miz now. Balor comes over and drops Reigns from behind. Balor unloads in the corner. Rollins saves Reigns, but Balor sends Reigns out to the steel, just over the ropes. Reigns clothesline Balor for a 2 count. Reigns unloads on Balor with clotheslines in the corner as fans count along. Reigns kicks out and overpowers Balor with a big powerbomb. Reigns with a Samoan drop to Cena for a 2 count. Reigns with a sit-down powerbomb to Miz, but he kicks out just in time. Reigns taunts Braun as he waits for the Superman punch to another opponent, but the timer counts down and Reigns turns his attention to Braun's pod. Braun is let in at number 6. Braun then grabs Rollins on the steel, sends him into the chamber wall. Reigns charges, but Braun drops him with a right hand. Braun enters the ring and drops Balor. Then Cena. Miz tries to keep his distance from Braun. Braun decks Cena and Reigns again. And Balor and Rollins. Cena and Rollins double team Braun, but he's still standing. They try for a double suplex, but Braun counters and drops them both with a suplex at the same time. Braun then catches Balor, uses him to drop Reigns as he charges. Miz has climbed up to the top of the pod. Braun climbs on top and gets these hands on him. That's his Braun's gimmick. These hands. Braun slams Miz's face into the chamber glass a few times. Braun then launches Miz off the pod onto Cena, Reigns, and Balor and Rollins. Braun then stands on top of the pod and yells out. We go to replays. All he does, thinks he's the Hulk. Braun returns to the ring and stares at Elias before going back to work on the Miz. Braun clubs Miz to the mat. Braun continues to dominate the match while most are down. Braun dumped Rollins onto the steel. Braun scooped the Miz for the running power slam next. Covers for the pin. Miz has been eliminated. Timer counts down again. Last man in is Elias. Elias doesn't come in as Braun stares him down outside the pod. Braun turns around to Cena, Reigns, Rollins, and Balor. They beat him down. Rollins and Balor lift Braun, while Cena and Reigns slam him for the Shield-style powerbomb. Braun still kicks out at 2. Cena scoops Braun for an attitude adjustment and nails it. Braun kicks out and sends Cena flying. Reigns hits a spear on Braun, but he still kicks out. Rollins with a big move on Braun. Next, as he rolls to the steel, Balor goes up top and hits a coup de grace to Braun on the steel. Cena hits the attitude adjustment to Reigns. Rollins stops the pin and super kicks Cena. Rollins blocks a sling blade from Balor and they collide. Both going down. Elias finally leaves his pod as the others are down. Elias with a 2 count on Rollins. And then a 2 count on Balor. 2 count on Reigns. 2 count on Cena. He ain't happy. Elias continues to work over his opponents. He drops Cena with a knee. Then goes up top. Elias nails a big elbow drop to Rollins for a close 2 count. Reigns ends up scooping Elias on his shoulders, but Elias fights free. Elias power bombs Reigns onto an electric chair. Out of electric chair, but Reigns still kicks out at 2. Braun comes in from behind and sends Elias into the corner. He charges, but Elias moves and Braun hits the ring post. Elias tries to get Braun on his shoulders, but he can't lift him. Braun with a power slam to Elias for the pin, and Elias has been eliminated. Rollins stops a Braun power slam to Reigns. They all take turns on Braun now. Cena comes off the top, but Braun catches him in midair. Braun power slams Cena and pins him. Cena has been eliminated. Braun stands tall and asks, who wants these hands? Hey, Braun, how about these hands? Reigns walks up to him and gets rocked. Rollins does too. Braun tells Balor to bring it. Braun swings, but Balor catches it and unloads on Braun. Braun runs into Boots in the corner twice. Balor with more offense. And before going to the top, Braun grabs him by the throat and brings him down. Balor blocks a running power slam and finally gets Braun off his feet. Balor goes back to the top and hits a coup de grace to the back of the head. Balor recovers for a 2 count. Balor and Rollins go at it now. They trade overhead kicks. Balor hits a 619 for a close 2 count. Reigns and Balor go at it. Balor with a sling blade and a corner drop kick. Balor goes to the top and hits a coup de grace to Reigns. Braun comes over and hits a running power slam on Balor for the pin. Balor's been eliminated. So far, Balor's eliminated everybody. Braun stares at Rollins and Reigns as they try to get to their feet. They stalk Braun and attack him, unloading with strikes. Well, my feed goes off at this time. And by the time I catch it in, there's only like about a minute or something left in the entire pay-per-view. And at least I get to see the finish. Well, they stalk Braun and attack him, unloaded with strikes. Braun pushes Rollins off, but gets bumped to the steel. They double team Braun and send him into the wall of the structure twice. Rollins turns and sends Reigns into the steel as the fans pop. Rollins brings it in the ring with a springboard, then super kick to Reigns. Rollins nails a buckle bomb, but Reigns immediately responds with a Superman punch. Both members of the Shield are down. Braun sees this and starts getting up. Braun then scoops Rollins for the power slam, but Rollins grabs the chamber wall and starts climbing up it. Braun climbs up as well. Rollins kicks at him. Reigns comes over and gets Braun on his back. Reigns with a Samoan drop on the steel to Braun. Braun rolls back into the ring. Rollins climbs up on top of the pod. Rollins nails a huge frog splash from the top of the pod, but Braun kicks out it too. Reigns and Rollins are each on each side of Braun now, but he fights them off. Braun with a big drop kick to Reigns. Rollins super kicks Braun in the mouth. Rollins with another super kick to Braun to bring him to one knee. Rollins goes for the stomp, but Braun catches him in running power slam for the pin. Rollins has been eliminated. Again, Braun eliminating everybody. Might as well take himself out and give it to Roman for the win. As Braun and Reigns fights off, Reigns strikes first, but Braun grabs his throat and sends him over the top to the steel. Reigns comes back and flies over the top of the steel. Braun charges on the steel, but Reigns moves, and Braun goes crashing to the glass of the pod. Reigns follows up with a Superman punch. As Braun stumbles back into the ring, Reigns follows and hits another Superman punch, bringing Braun to one knee. Some fans are booing now. Reigns goes for the spear, but Braun blocks it. Reigns with a Superman punch and a spear again. Braun gets up and Reigns delivers another spear for the pin and the win. Reigns is going on to WrestleMania 34. Number one contender Roman Reigns. After the match, Coleslaw confirms Reigns versus Universal Champion Brock Lesnar for WrestleMania 34. As we go to replays, Reigns stands tall and looks up at the WrestleMania 34 sign as the music plays. Braun comes from behind and lays Reigns out with a running power slam. Fan chant for more. Braun stands tall with a thumbs down, and as fans pop, Braun scoops Reigns up for another big power slam in the middle of the ring. Braun takes Reigns to the steel and launches him through the glass of a pod. Reigns is laid out as Braun yells out and raises his arm, doing the hook. Braun's music hits as he exits the chamber, heads to the back. Elimination chamber goes off the air as Reigns is laid out inside the pod. Well, they give him a few minutes. Interviews backstage on what happened after the pay-per-view. John Cena was interviewed, and I'll go right to it. He basically was interviewed and was asked about what his feelings are. And he's talking down that, well, I don't think I should be wrestling anymore. Yada, yada, yada. He doesn't actually finish, but I think he may be just talking about going back to SmackDown. And then Reigns does his little spoiler alert to end the pay-per-view, what happened after the pay-per-view went off the air. I've already told you what the spoiler was. I'm going to win at WrestleMania. And that concludes my pay-per-view results, Elimination Chamber results. Thanks again. Peace out. See you one of you. If you don't know, just comment, brothers and sisters. Ooh, yeah.